You know, we never talked about it while we still wore the colors. When we wrote out a farewell. Without Sarah, I knew that we were leaving everything behind. Everything that mattered was gone.
Don't leave me out here, man.
How many drifters still flying colors around here? As if that shit matters. If you ask me, you got a price on your head. How's it feel to be on the other side?
Because that's who we are. The freak show. Only folks survived were those mean enough, nasty enough to out-freak the freaks.
We're fighting a war out here. You sure you're up for it?
We have to look out for each other. It's all we got.
Come on, give me the gun! No, I will not!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bend Plays. I'm Kevin McAllister, Community Manager here at Bend's Studio, and with me, a returning guest for the OGs that have been with us for the past 2 years, Philip Wilson, Senior Designer. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Kevin?
I'm good. I'm here.
Yeah, me too.
I'm ready to talk Days Gone.
I am as well.
I think me and you could probably talk Days Gone all the time.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So
I've talked a lot about Days Gone.
yeah, I mean,
I can do it again.
It's a good game.
It is.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi, chat. Nice to see you again on this Friday night. This is our second stream of 2024, which is kind of crazy how January's almost over. Like, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
Time
Wow.
just zips on by.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been almost 5 years now since Days
Right?
Gone. So.
Yeah, almost 5 years. Actually, on April 26th will be the 5th year anniversary, which is, wow, that's wild. You know? That's, like me personally, that means I've been creating content for 5 years for Days Gone. Like, that's a long time.
Yeah, for
You
me
know?
personally, it
Like,
means
development.
I've been a parent
Yeah.
for like 5 years.
Yeah.
I had the last Days Gone baby, so
That's
I
crazy.
felt- yeah, every time the anniversary of Days Gone comes around, I'm like, wow, my kid's old now.
Right. So, yes, the Beard brothers have returned. Got the long beard, got my beard. That's finally grown. Well, not finally. It grew back immediately after Extra Life.
Yeah, it was only like a few hours.
Yeah. So what are we doing today? We are continuing our Breaking Down Days Gone live stream series. We're doing this series because, as you know, for the past year, we've been celebrating the 30th anniversary of Ben Studio, which the 30th anniversary will end in May. So to kind of wrap up into that, we're kind of looking back at the past. You know, we did a bunch of playthroughs with our Siphon Filter games, and you know, we had some really cool things last year for the 30th anniversary, and now we're kind of wrapping it up with, we got actually 3 more Breaking Down Days Gone live streams after this one, and also a couple more Bend at Nights still coming your way to kind of all put a nice little bow on our big milestone, which is awesome that, you know, we're here at this time celebrating our 30 years, and that's a long time in the video game industry, you know?
It is.
It's a long time.
Absolutely.
So if you didn't catch the previous couple Breaking Down Days Gone, we started off with our game director, Ron Allen, and we went through 2 hours worth of breaking down the old sawmill from the tech of the Horde, showing the prototype with a Horde of Gabe Logans that was running on the PS Vita before it became a Horde. And then the second episode, we went with our senior concept artist, Katie Scott, and talked about all the art and graphic design that she did in Days Gone. So today, our third part, we brought on Phil, which at the time for Days Gone was the lead open world designer?
I wasn't a lead. I was just an open world.
Open world designer.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking ambush camps that he did a lot of work into. The challenge mode that includes an ambush specific camp rush. Ambush Camp Rush is actually the name of it. And also some other things that we love to share. And Phil's here is going to give us some insight. But before all that, Phil, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been at Ben's studio? What did you do on Days Gone? Just a little brief overview before we get into it.
All right. Well, my name is Philip Wilson. Right now, I'm a senior designer here at the studio. And I got my start here actually working as QA. I started on Siphon Filter Combat Ops back in 2006, testing for that game. I've also worked on Logan Shadow, like PS2 Dark Mirror Europe, Resistance Retribution, Uncharted Golden Abyss. I worked as a tester on all those. And then there was no testing work for a while, and eventually I got the opportunity to come back as a designer, which started out as just like item population in Days Gone, like populating edges, nav links, items, but turned into like making content like the enemy camps, the ambush camps. Like I worked on a lot of the like basis of how the ambient events worked in the game, and did some really early work on like some of the nests and stuff like that too, and also worked on some of the encampment stuff along with the Lost Lake guitarist.
So you've been here quite a bit.
I have.
You know, from the Siphon Filter days, Resistance Retribution, such a cool game. You know, and then all your work in Days Gone. You know, that's awesome. You know, it's so cool. Like when we're playing the Siphon Filter games and we're going through the credits and we see so many names that have been on Siphon Filter that are still here to this day, right? Which I guess that's a testament to how cool of a place this is.
It really is.
It
really is. Yeah, I actually got during Resistance Retribution, I ended up getting a tattoo of the Resistance Retribution.
You did get a Resistance Retribution tattoo.
On my arms. So.
And I have a Days Gone tattoo on mine.
There we are.
Look at that. We're Beard Bros and Tattoo Bros.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Who knows what's going to happen tonight?
Who would have known? Who would have thunk it? Look at us now.
So, chat, we with our welcome back stream last week, we kind of revamped our Ben credits, that's in the chat that can kind of, we do some fun stuff throughout the stream. Now, those will be on hold for today as we're doing this type of stream. Now, you can still put your credits in towards the community challenge for that bonus stream with a game of your choosing. So you can still use those credits for that. And also to spread the love credits or the virtual high five, because those are still cool and everyone deserves a virtual high five and some love. So those ones are good. The other ones we'll hold off until the next stream, which will be next week. And we'll be bringing on our recruiter, Crystal Johnson, and she's going to be joining me for, you guessed it, Diablo 4. Nice. So it's going to be a fun stream next week as well. But tonight we're talking Days Gone.
It's true.
Phil?
Yeah?
Are you ready to dig into this?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. So I'm going to be on the sticks tonight. We're going to kind of do almost, if you were here with Katie Scott when we did our art episode, we're going to be kind of doing something similar where we're going to do almost like a virtual tour of Days Gone. And we're going to stop at places that Phil's worked on. We have some load spots that we're going to go ahead and just kind of jump to and kind of have Phil talk more about that. So let's dig into this.
Let's hope my memory banks still serve me well.
Yeah. So the first thing we are doing is we're talking about the Lost Lake Camp guitarist, which, as you see, they're over here. They just turned the lights on.
Yep.
It's nighttime here in Days Gone. We got this guy. He's playing the harmonica.
Oh.
And he's going to pick up the guitar. So Phil, why are we starting this spot? You've done some things with this, haven't you?
Yeah, I did actually. This was something that we kind of put in towards the end of the production of the game, but we wanted to create this event where Xander Reese is the one who's singing these songs, and there's actually 6 different songs, but it was always planned that there's going to be like a kind of like a musical event in the Lost Lake Camp, and we had to get one in and working. So towards the end of production, I had to kind of just put this together, and we ended up making it kind of like an ambient event. So you see that little question mark. This will happen at like 7. I think it's like 7 o'clock in game or something like that. I don't know. But basically, like once it's ready, you wander over there and it'll just play the whole song for you. And if you leave early, it's fine. If you listen to the whole thing, it's fine. But yeah, it cycles through the 6 different songs. So watch all the performances in the Lost Lake Camp. It's pretty cool.
And you said this was implemented fairly late.
Fairly late.
In production.
Yep.
Which, I'm so glad this was added, because this is like a type of thing that all players always go to. Or, you had Deacon, you can kind of dance along to the music here.
That's right, Deke.
Yeah, Deacon's getting down. If you were with us last year for our 30th anniversary party stream, we actually brought in the man behind the voice, Xander Reese, and we did almost like a live performance type thing throughout the stream, where he sung all 6 of the songs that he did in Days Gone.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they're all great, honestly. Like, I actually really like all of the 6 songs that were there. I'm always kind of a fan of Mirrors myself, but
which is actually the one that's playing right now. Yep.
All right, yeah, that's a good one.
So it's kind of cool too that it's considered an ambient event. Like the question mark pops up on the mini map, because now I guess so. How did that come to be? Where like you see the lights go on, you see the people go on. Was that enough of a sign to give players of like something's happening over here?
We wanted to just make sure it was consistent, like with all the other kind of events in the game, so that it looked like something was happening there. Because anywhere you find those question marks on the map, I know they only appear for a little amount of time when you're wandering through the world, but they signal that something's going on over there and you should check it out.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do kind of the same thing with this as well. I do like that. There's actually, I think this event can happen before you turn on the power as well to the dam, and if you do that, if it happens then, pretty sure the lights don't turn on for the event.
Oh, interesting.
Because there's no power
Right.
in the area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and there's 6 total songs. So he's done. He's gonna go walk away. He did what he had to do, right?
he's done.
So yeah, that's a part of the collectibles. So you can get 6 collectibles right there. And yeah, anything else you wanted to mention about that, Phil?
No, just I really love how this ended up coming together.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite parts of the whole thing was just seeing people's reactions to it once the game came out.
It's such a fan favorite. Like I said, we have all time people coming and just kind of watching that and going over and like, hey, I want to listen to these songs, right? And I don't know. I'm so glad it came in, even though, it got in kind of late, right? But, something like that, how does that get in so late? Why, was this something that just came like, hey, let's do something like this?
Yeah, it was just like we needed to get it in there. There were certain systems that weren't quite supporting it, so we just had to like get the work done to make it work. And,
yeah.
I was able to do that. So along with lots of help, obviously. Like, I didn't write the song, I didn't make the animation, so there's a whole bunch of animators that are. If I remember correctly, actually, the animator that worked on it, he had to like line up the fingers correctly to the frets on the guitar and stuff like that. But it was a really impressive piece of work, honestly. Like, I still do remember the streams where like some streamers were talking and then they just happened upon this event and they just went quiet and watched the whole thing play out. It was just
that's awesome.
one of the coolest experiences.
And shout out to Xander Reese for the artist behind those songs. Seriously, good stuff.
Yeah.
So now we're moving on. We're going to the Diamond Lake Camp. This will be kind of a quick pit stop. Just kind of, as we're kind of going over some things, we're going to, really kind of get more into the details with the next couple things after this. But Philip worked on this, so
I did.
We wanted to show it off.
All right. Yeah.
So right here, what did you work on here, Phil?
Honestly, like a lot of stuff around here. These NPCs these guys that are doing the training here, I got them all performing those actions in line with each other. Same with the obstacle course and the I don't know if the drill sergeant's like yelling at them through here or not, but there's a whole bunch of these actions basically in these camps, and this one I remember working on quite a bit. I don't have much else to say about it other than it was really cool to get it working.
We just wanted to kind of come over here and be like, hey, this, even a small part of game development like that, right, has to be done. Now, do you
Absolutely.
remember how long, like, maybe this took you to create this instance?
Longer than I probably would have liked, honestly, but like it was really cool. Like all these camps actually, they do have night and day schedules. I'm sure you already noticed that in like all of the camps. So like some of them will be sleeping at night, some of them will, you know, be doing different activities at night. Like they don't train during the nighttime typically. So it's I don't know. It's pretty cool how many different activities there were in these camps. But
And here's the obstacle course you mentioned.
yeah, I don't know why they aren't doing much there.
They're
all
tired.
taking a break.
They're really tired, you know.
But yeah, it's a pretty neat setup, honestly. Like, and there are also state changes for these camps as you go through the game too. So like, you know, after you, spoiler alert, go through the story, the camp is different after that because of narrative reasons.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, anyone in chat, if you have questions for Phil throughout this stream, please drop them in chat. We have my awesome partner, Kat, behind the screen, that she's going to be collecting the questions throughout the stream. And at the end of the stream, we're going to go ahead and try to answer some of those for you. So if you have any questions, please drop them in for Phil.
Sweet.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd like to answer questions.
Sometimes. Depends on the question, really.
Now I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to our next spot here, which I was trying to... so we're actually going to go to the ambient event because I couldn't find the other one.
Okay.
Because I was looking at the wrong date.
That's all right. That's okay.
So yeah, any questions, make sure you drop it in chat. We're going to collect them. And then at the end of the stream, we'll go ahead and give you some answers. All right, so next one. Now, Phil, you were part of a fairly small open world team.
Yeah, we were a super small team. There were probably like about 8 or 9 of us total, probably, that worked on the open world. Maybe a little bit more throughout production, but like ultimately ended up with like 8 or 9 people putting together most of the events that you find out in the open world. Like not the mission jobs and stuff like that, but these like ambient events out in the world. So stuff that you might happen across while you're just running across things happening in general, right? These could be like ambushes. A lot of them are ambushes where like
Which
you'll see
right
the sniper,
here?
or like this one right here, the burning car. Ambush. Holy moly. You just got right into that thing.
I
And
did.
then now there's a sniper there.
I wanted for them to see the complete thing, you know?
Yeah, you did. Smacked right into that car.
So explain that part right there, that ambush, because that was an ambush that I didn't run into much during my playthroughs, but when the first time I saw it, I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. That was an ambush that was actually prototyped originally by another designer. That they created this like really specific setup for this car and like coming down the road from like only one direction. And I took that and I basically made it work from like all angles. So if you happen to notice that there is this event going on and like maybe you didn't drive just down that road immediately, the car will be there and there will be people at the car waiting to push it down essentially, and you can sneak up on them, eliminate them before they push the car down. You can make the car explode, I believe, by shooting at it before it gets to you. And I tried to account for like all of that, but the really fascinating and interesting part about working on this stuff is I worked on a lot of the underlying logic, but not the actual like population of where these things are in the world. So I tend to still get like surprised when I see them in the game, because like while I know how they work, I know all the bones kind of how all that stuff is put together, I don't always know where it's going to happen, which is kind of awesome actually, as a person who when I played through the game, like even though I'm familiar with the content, it still was able to surprise me.
Right. So kind of made a good point there where, this is just one ambient event, right? There's multiples. You have the sniper, which we'll probably run into at one point in the stream. You have the tripwire.
Yeah.
You have the snare trap. And I think this is one of the things for Days Gone is what makes Days Gone so loved is because like that marketing tagline, "This world comes for you," it literally does. Little fun fact here. So last night, as I was preparing this room, I was trying to find a spot to stop, to save, so we can kind of just go right into the conversation. And I had to go from one part of the map to the other part of the map, and I see
gonna get you.
You can never just sit still in Days Gone.
Nope.
And it took, something that should have took me 5 minutes, took me about a half hour to get across the map because I had rippers coming at me. I was sniped off my bike. I ran into the tripwire. I'm like, this is crazy, right? But I think that is the stuff that makes this game so fun is those dynamic events that just happen.
Absolutely.
And like this one especially. I love this one so much because you have them sitting up there and they're just waiting for you to drive by here and then to push the car down.
Yep.
So like how many people in the studio does that like have to come across? Who makes that whole thing function?
A whole thing function like that? Like honestly, like a lot of the times it's like about a designer or two that like gets the idea right, like of the event. Like as I said, I took this event from another designer basically and made it work. So like all that was set up how it was going down the road. It was just a physics object with impulse, and we ended up just kind of putting it together with only a few people, honestly, and it turned out pretty well, I'd say. But yeah, you touched on like a really interesting point about Days Gone is that because of all these ambient events out there, we don't actually dole them out in any specific pattern, but it is an evaluation on like what kind of events have you seen recently? Like what kind of events are around in the area? Like have you seen a sniper ambush recently? Okay, well, probably shouldn't serve you a sniper ambush. And like actually I see a motorcycle guy out
see
there
it right
too.
there, right?
An ambient like motorcycle rider. I'm pretty sure that those were events in the game too.
Yep.
Because I was actually just reviewing some of this stuff because it's been a while. Been a few years since I looked at Days Gone really closely, but I basically was looking at some old documentation, and yeah, there's some motorcycle riding events that I put together that other people populated in the world, which is like obviously what we just saw in the background there with that motorcycle guy going along. Those are like an event just like anything else, but that is something that makes Days Gone really special in my mind, is that you never really kind of know what you're gonna get, right? Like even I know where a whole bunch of these events are, but I don't know when they're gonna happen.
Right.
Like I don't know like when when it's gonna activate or what's gonna go on, and that's kind of like one of the real fun parts about Days Gone in general. That along with we have another system that I didn't work too closely on, but I think it's really cool, which is called combat escalation, where basically like the more bullets you fire and the more like noise you're making, the more it's going to attract other entities to your location. So like if you're really loud, you'll start seeing a whole bunch of like things like freakers coming after you or the wolves coming towards you because they're getting attracted to all the gunfire basically. And you can use that to your advantage in certain cases, like in an ambush camp is actually a great place to use something like that to your advantage, where if you rile the camp up and hide, like you can get other entities to like start getting involved and help you out.
So I like that combat escalation. That's very interesting. And also what the other thing you touched on is like I don't know when these things are going to happen. Like that's crazy. I feel like with games, with linear story-driven games, you know exactly what's going to happen when it's going to happen, right? But this is an open world. These are dynamic encounters, and they're just going to happen based on where you're at in the world, how you're playing,
and what you've seen recently.
And like that's, I think, is just super impressive. One, for it to come, maybe a little bit biased here, but to come from such a small team at Bend Studio, right, to create this huge open world and to have these dynamic open world encounters that just happen whenever they happen.
Yep.
And hopefully, you know, we might even see some more during the stream. The snare trap is one of my favorites. You know, it's something where you go over to the question mark, Deacon gets trapped up, he gets all of his stuff taken away from him, and then you got to sneak out and, you know, go retrieve your stuff, right? And I thought that was always so cool.
I actually really like that one as well. It's one of the ones that I did work on for a little while, but yet again didn't populate them all. I populated a few of them throughout the world, but it is just super cool to come across those events. And a lot of the times you can really miss that. Like I've definitely seen posts from people that are like saying like, I've never seen that happen in the game at all.
Yeah.
And I just love like the fact that certain players have just like completely different experiences with the open world like that.
Right. Crap.
So I see that
saw me.
You're going after one of these ambush camps.
Yep.
The Dearborn ambush.
Oh,
camp,
wow.
And they really got you. They ambushed you.
He completely just ambushed me.
Yeah, they did.
Well, I had the volume somewhat low, so I didn't hear the guy just coming from behind me.
Yeah.
And he just So one of these ambush camps, which you had a lot of your hand in.
Oh yeah.
Throughout the entire game.
All the logic of these ambush camps, like a lot of the environment was actually done by other like environment artists, and like the layout I'd worked together with the environment artists to get all these working. But yeah, every single ambush camp in this game I basically populated, put like all their activities together and all the logic of how they work. And these ambush camps are kind of well, something I really like about them is that enemies are defined into their like zones. They try to defend certain areas, but as the encounter goes on, I'm actually like migrating them back into the camp.
Okay.
So that we can kind of keep the combat experience kind of moving back towards the bunker. So in this camp, actually, this is a great example of something I was hoping to talk about, is that this camp you could approach from the side and actually like go up above and start taking them out where the bunker is. And what I guess why I'm talking about what I'm talking about is that I was trying to account for that problem. Like, if you go in from behind and start clearing out the later parts of the ambush camp first, you'd have this interesting problem where everyone was just defending the front. And that didn't work combat-wise. So, like, the way that these camps actually work is they migrate everyone back, and they'll fill slots to those back defend zones before they will actually, like, take the front ones. So essentially, even if you kill out like the people in the back of the encounter first, other folks will take their spots and keep moving towards that back area to just kind of keep combat flowing in that way. And every single ambush camp actually does this. So they'll all have this like kind of migration through their defense zone. So if you like stay at the front, you'll start noticing they all kind of keep to the back.
Right.
And you have to kind of make that push. But all these camps were designed with the thought process of like you can approach them from any angle or any kind of style of play. Like if you wanted to be stealthy, you could be stealthy. If you wanted to use the traps to like break down these barriers and take another route through, you could do that. If you wanted to just run through and gun, that's perfectly fine too.
Which is apparently what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's okay. There's a little bit of run and gun isn't a bad thing. But yeah, I just love seeing all this stuff again.
But, you know, you touched on, like, there's multiple ways to attack this camp, right? There's multiple ways to come into it. You can do it stealthy, which I usually try to do. But once you get caught, you're like, all right, screw it. You know, I'm just going to shoot everyone, right? And, you know, but that's still, like, fun, too, just kind of coming through this this camp here. Oops. Don't want to die. There we go.
Oh, yeah, you're on survival, aren't you?
I'm on, survival 2, I believe. Yeah, survival 2 right now.
Nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I love playing super hard difficulty while I'm streaming. It's my favorite.
Oh, I think that's the right way of doing things, really.
But I do have some throwables and stuff. See if I can blow up that guy.
You hit the.
Oh no!
the clothes.
I hit the clothesline.
You hit the clothes. That's not gonna. Oh, okay, well then now there's only one left, and I think it's the guy with the big
With the
gun.
helmet,
Yeah.
right?
Don't hit the clothes again.
I know.
Oh, there you go. Get him.
There
and
we
I
go.
think he comes out of the bunker. Like a lot of them, towards the end of the ambush camp, there will be like a heavy guy that'll come out of the bunker.
Oh, okay. So the bunker itself,
Yeah.
you were talking to me about this when we were talking about the stream.
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal with the bunker? What is it? What was your part in it?
The bunker?
Yeah.
Like putting it in there? Like I
Yep.
I put it in there. I mean, it's these bunkers are basically like where their operations are, and the concept behind all of this is really just that like you're clearing out this like location where all of these people who were ambushing you were like hiding out. So once you gain all their information, right, you don't have as many ambush style events basically after this. So once you get their map, you know where they are. Now you don't get attacked as often. So there is a actually correlation between ambush camps and ambient events. If you clear an ambush camp, you'll get less of the ambush ambient events. So like if you have a lot of problems in Days Gone with snipers or snare traps or tripwire ambushes, clear out an ambush camp and you'll get quite a bit less of those type of events because you've made the area safer.
See, I think that's a tip, a perfect tip for people maybe who haven't played Days Gone or now looking to go back in and play it. Is that's something you may not know as a player, right? It's like, oh, you start taking out these ambush camps, you're not going to get sniped as much on the road. You're not going to get ambushed as much because it all connects. Like you're not just taking out these ambush camps just to take them out, just to check a box, right? It all connects to the whole open world.
That's right.
System. And that right there, I think is so cool. You know,
that was one of the parts that I've really appreciated about what we did in Days Gone is that kind of like cause and effect aspect of like the ambient or like the clearing an ambush camp, having it reduce ambient events, or like certain ambient events will have higher frequencies in certain weather conditions.
Yeah.
Like there's the one there. I think there's only like a few of them populated, but there is a lightning strike on a freaker ambient event that only happens like in the rain in this very like few very specific places, but it's a low frequency kind of occurrence of an event. And it's pretty cool. I like those events that only maybe a few people see every once in a while because it makes them really special.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Very much like when you see a beautiful like landscape in Days Gone. A lot of times when you're going through the open world, well, that was. It's planned that it's going to be beautiful at some point, right? Like at a certain condition, a certain time of day, it'll look like breathtaking in this exact time. But like that isn't pre-planned as much as it is in other games. Like for our story moments, a lot of it is. But like for just riding around the world, if you see those like coming over a hill, I'm sure you've had a few of those experiences.
Oh yeah.
But that's the kind of dynamicism that I think is really interesting about Days Gone that you don't see a lot in other games. Of course, I am very biased, right?
I mean, yeah. But hey.
I worked on it, so.
Well, yeah. Look, I mean, we cleared out the ambush camping. We have some freakers that wanted to join the party. So they're starting to roam around here.
Yeah.
Now, when we came into this ambush camp, we started talking about the different ways you can approach it, right? Mm-hmm. Different entryways, the different type of style, whether you do stealth or guns blazing.
Yeah. Or if you want to use like maybe berserker darts and make them kill each other.
Yes,
or,
right.
Or if you want to drag a horde in there, that's perfectly fine too. These are all like things that I personally always wanted to support when I was putting this content together, because that's typically not what you usually see. Is like, oh, well, we drug a whole horde in there. Doesn't that cheapen the experience? Like,
yeah.
Nah, not really. You kind of feel really clever afterwards,
right.
And you're like, yeah, that horde just killed everyone.
We're gonna soon. We're actually going to go to an ambush camp that has a perfect spot for that horde that we're going to talk about. But before that, want to show over kind of a little design layout that Phil had in the archives of showing cover. So it's not this exact spot, but it's kind of a way, for designers to kind of see how to place cover. So here is a, this is pretty
Be
early,
pretty simple.
pretty
stuff.
early look, pretty simple. But yeah, so like explain what's going on here, Phil.
So basically, they're just trying to create like little pockets of enemies and potential places for cover. So we were just trying to see where the enemies were, and all those red lines are essentially just places that we could place cover. Like I was just using my imagination, being like, oh well, maybe if the enemies are here, we could place all these cover objects here.
Right.
So because we always have to keep that in mind, especially with Days Gone being more of like a cover-based shooter. Anytime we had human combat, we'd really need it to feel right, and we have to have cover to make it feel right. Like we couldn't just put a human in an empty field, and they wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah.
To shoot them. So we always have to think about that and take the area into consideration. With a lot of these camps, they were actually like they came in after some of the environment was already there. So we basically took an area and then like would put that layout request in there afterwards and be like, okay, well we need a cover pass here, so place like early cover, like draw it out kind of what we were expecting, and then go in there in game, place it and see how it played, then move it on to environment art, and then they make it look good.
And yeah, so like it
all starts pretty simple.
Yeah, kind of what fascinated me about just this one simple image is like every piece has to be thought of, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's when it's a job well done by a team, is you feel so immersed in the world, you're not thinking about that. Oh, a developer put this rock here so I can cover, right? No, it just feels natural, especially living in Oregon, right? We're like, oh, this makes sense,
Absolutely, yeah.
And here's another kind of early look at an enemy camp.
Yeah, there was no cover there yet.
Yeah, no cover there.
Yep, this was just like a potential area where we were like, maybe we could put one here. Maybe we can put a camp here and see what like this would this work, right? So.
And there was there's
scouting locations basically.
Scouting locations in
Yeah.
game, right?
Yep.
And when you were doing these, I think there was one image we kind of found, and you're like, oh, I don't even think that's an enemy camp anymore, right? Because whatever happened, things changed during the development, and one time it could be an enemy camp, or one time it could be just like, all right, we're just going to leave this area as kind of a, more exploratory type of thing. You can maybe go into a shack and get a couple supplies, but
exactly.
Yeah, just a couple really early looks. I think this was like I think what your archive said was 2017, so a couple years before Days Gone even released.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I always love seeing kind of the early stuff and then where it comes to how it gets polished, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Chat, hi everyone. Trying to give Phil the spotlight, so I'm so sorry. We usually always talk to you all constantly, so I apologize. I see everyone here, Shank and Zaz and Dan and Little Wolfie, Bubs I saw. Thank you all again for joining us. Hope you're enjoying part 3 of Breaking Down Days Gone. We're about 40 minutes in already, which is kind of crazy.
Doesn't feel like it.
No, it's not. It doesn't. And we've talked a little bit about the Lost Lake Camp Guitarist. We briefly went over to Diamond Lake to see just a little thing that you put in there that is it. Like we were just talking about, creates that immersive experience for players, right? Oh, there's people in this world that are doing things because there's a reason for it, right? We got to see an ambient event with a burning car, which is honestly one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, that one is Snare Trap. I love them.
My favorite one is I already kind of told you about this, but the motorcycle ambush is my absolute favorite one. That is the one of my favorites, which is where basically you're in an area, just kind of exploring. You go into a building, and all of a sudden these dudes on motorcycles show up, like looking around for supplies, and you just have to deal with them. And it ended up like being one of my favorites, just because I was able to be in an early meeting where I think they were reviewing a Nero checkpoint for some reason. Wow, there's a bear over there. That's a bear fighting a
There's
breaker.
a bear fighting a breaker.
Let's just see how it goes.
Another open world event. I just love watching these things happen.
This is just the open world systems like working together. I'm pretty sure that both of these are just ambient population. That
The
breaker
breaker
kicked
won.
the crap out of that.
Congratulations, Breaker. He is
Good
the
work.
world heavyweight champion
Yep.
of Days Gone.
Yeah, get wrecked, bear.
Look at him.
But we were basically reviewing this Nero checkpoint, and the game director was playing, and we just going through the area, and I see this prop that was part of the event like spawn in. I'm like, that gas tank is only there in the event. Like, I know this event is gonna happen. So I just sit there and watch. I'm like, I look over and nudge the lead open world designer. I'm like, hey, this motorcycle ambush is gonna happen. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this ambush event's gonna happen. So like, game director's running around, all of a sudden, like without any kind of expectation, just like the multiple guys on motorcycles show up, and then they just like shot him. It's just like, what was that? Like, that was awesome. And that was one of my favorite moments, and probably all of the development. Ironically,
That's
like
awesome.
there's so many good moments, but like that one
Right.
just always like brings a smile to my
Yeah.
face. Along with this ambush camp, actually, this ambush camp usually brings a pretty big smile.
So
to
yeah,
my face.
now it takes us to kind of a big talking point, and something that I was, kind of anxious to start playing is the Belknap Caves. Belknap Cave Ambush Camp, which, if you're not familiar, it's over in this region. Right here is where we're at. Where are we at? This is like the whole Belknap area, which you have hot springs over here and Belknap here.
The
Now,
East Belknap ambush camp. That's what. It's
Yeah.
funny is that's what I know it as, like the name of
Right.
it. I don't ever think about it, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's that East Belknap ambush camp.
so why did we pick this spot, Phil? What's special about this spot?
Well, there's two special ambush camp. Like, they're all special to me. Right?
Yes,
they're
they're
all
all your
special. I
babies.
love them all like
Yes.
my children. But there are two that are maybe a little bit more special than all the other ones, and this is one of those two. This one has a whole bunch of bear traps, actually. There is a bear trap that is aptly named because the former open world lead always stepped in it.
That
So
would be
his-
Mr. Eric.
It's Eric's bear
Yep,
trap.
yep.
Eric's bear trap, it was named. I actually renamed the asset because he kept stepping in it every single time. But this one has bear traps. It has a few other traps that are like, the noise-making ones. But also, it has a small horde that's just kind of in the cave down below. And the horde is mostly scripted to come out like about halfway through the encounter typically. That's how I put most of them together. So if you're going really loud, the horde will come out and be like, hey, what's going on? But if you do manage to go through completely stealthy, they won't make an appearance.
Now we can also go and grab them
We can
and
do
bring
that.
them up.
Absolutely. we
Now
can.
it is nighttime. Are they in the cave right now?
Yeah, they're in the cave.
They should be there, right?
Yeah, they're always in that cave.
Oh, did that guy see me?
Maybe, probably. Not going to matter too much in a moment. Oh, well,
Crap.
you went loud anyway. You could still go.
Well,
get
I have
forward.
the suppressor on. So if you
Oh.
there it is. Can I get
I
it?
put that there.
No, thanks. I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
that. I'm glad I got to step in that bear trap. So the camp is up here, which is kind of oh, here they are. Okay. They're not even going to let me talk. So there's
They aren't?
there's a cave below here. And what we're going to do, we're just going to bring these freakers up here. Oh, and try not to die ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. You are on. Oh, you're not on survival 2 anymore.
I am on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, maybe not.
I saw a mini map. That's why I was like.
Oh, right. So, yeah, now we got the freakers kind of helping us out here a little bit.
Yeah, I really like it when freakers take on the ambush camps. It's actually like one of my favorite experiences. With
And you
these
just kind of
things.
sit here and you watch the ticker go.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Just have to make sure they don't come after you too much. right?
yeah, which they're about to see me here.
Yeah, they really are. Those guys.
There they are.
You were being the most sneaky, apparently.
Very sneaky.
Super sneaky.
All right, so you come get
just
these
run
guys.
run past them.
I'm going to run past them,
All
let
right.
the horde take these
Have
guys
fun.
on. See ya. We'll take this guy. We'll
This poor sniper over
end
here
his misery.
just doesn't even see you there. He's just looking around for something else.
So yeah, like this whole camp is unique because it sits above. It sits above a cave. You kind of have to figure out little walkways to get over to it. But like Phil was saying, you can, if you start going guns blazing in this camp, that horde is going to come out from underneath the cave, right? And they're going to come to you. Or you be strategic. You can probably do a little bit more smoother than I just did it. Go grab them, bring them up, and just let them take it out, right? So I think we took out one person in that entire spot right here, and the horde took the rest of them out.
Yeah, you used the world was your weapon.
I love that.
Yeah, the horde was your weapon. There was actually the other ambush camp that's kind of like this. There's an ambush camp in the lower left corner. It's in the southern part of Diamond Lake or Wizard Island region, and it has a Nero checkpoint. It's an ambush camp, and then there's a horde in the cave. That one's really hard to take out silently, but if you do it, the horde won't get you.
Yeah.
It's really fun to make the horde attack enemies, though.
I think that's
Big fan.
It's so cool, right? It's so cool. Now I think the bunker is actually on the other side of this.
It is.
Now I can, if I have a bomb, I should actually.
Yeah, that pipe bomb over there will probably do it.
Where?
It's up there to the upper right.
A pipe bomb, really?
Yeah, a pipe bomb should work.
Okay.
I think. I mean, I'd hope so.
I always just plant things on them.
Does seem like a pipe bomb would do it.
But yeah, that did
See?
it.
There
Makes
you go.
sense.
You may have hurt yourself in the process,
And may
but
have
did work.
alerted some more freakers, but
They'll be fine.
it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
So the bunker is one of those things you always have to find, right?
Yep.
Now, is there like a certain strategy to put where that bunker is? Like this one is kind of over here outside the camp.
They just kind of depended on the camp, really, and where we wanted to put them. We always kind of wanted to put them in a different area. There was actually a time where the bunkers you'd have to like follow a trail of clues to get there. So like you'd start investigating near like a house for the northern Belknap one.
There it is.
You'd investigate near a house, and then like you'd look at this clue, and then it would have footprints that went off towards like the bunker, so that you could try to find it. But it ended up just being like too much to get to the bunker, basically. So it was just easier to just ended up being a better experience to just kind of lead the player there.
Yeah. What was your favorite part about working on these camps?
Honestly, like just allowing the open world interactions with them. Like those are always been my favorite like interactions for these camps, is just having like the ability to bring whatever in there. Like, oh, you have wolves chasing you? Okay, bring them into the camp. Like you have like all these freakers chasing you, bring them into the camp. Like any kind of play style I really wanted to support with these, of just being like, okay, I like to go through stealthy. Okay, you like to go through stealthy? Let's set it up so you can do that.
Right.
I want to just go through and shoot them. I just want to bring a horde through and shoot these things, or have them kill the camp.
Yeah.
All those things are perfectly valid, and that's one of the things that I really liked about working on the ambush camps, is that they really allowed that, and people could take them on whenever they wanted to, essentially. So they're just out there in the open world, right? You want to take on this ambush camp? Okay,
exactly.
you can go ahead and do it. You don't want to? All right, drive on by. You're just going to get attacked more often.
Yeah. So actually, so now you're starting to see some freakers kind of head back to the cave after they attacked us. But this is like, see, there's the one walkway you can go across, or you can go across the other way. I think that might be the only two ways you can get through this camp, actually.
Technically, yes.
So you have to kind of be strategic about this. The horde.
You could snipe them all from.
Snipe them all
from
right?
outside too. You don't necessarily have to go over there. You could play ranged. You could, stay over here on this side, or go around on the other side, like just outside of the camp, and start picking them off.
Yeah.
So there's definitely lots of ways to approach these kind of camps.
Then you got these two bear traps here.
Yeah.
Which is strategically placed with the person that's looking at the car.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you step on this, that person's going to get alerted, right?
Exactly.
Which is then going to piggyback off that person that was up there and
they're
then
gonna
all of a
start
sudden,
fighting you.
yeah, your guns blaze, and then the horde comes, right?
Exactly.
And then it's just pure chaos.
Exactly. Chaos is fun.
We're gonna go ahead and go get our bike here, which I parked it all the way down here for some reason, and we're gonna go try to find some freaker nest.
Okay.
You did a little bit with the
Did a
freaker
little
nest.
early work with some freaker nest stuff. Yeah. Basically, like there were a lot of freaker nests at one point. We actually had to tone them back quite a bit, but
We'll just go to the easy one right here. Look at that.
That
It's
one's
right
a
there.
good one.
Yeah.
Crazy Willies.
Crazy Willies. One of the first.
I think this one was actually like already like some of these nests were already present by the time I started. Some of them I had to set up. Like,
Oh, interesting.
there's all sorts of them all over the place. I think there was actually. Can you open your map real quick? I'm curious
Yes, I can.
what nests exist. Are there any in Lost Lake? If you look down at Lost Lake,
You got this one here.
yeah, some of the ones
Road
in
camp.
Marion Forks, I want to say. Like I remember placing some of those, or at Sherman's Camp. I mean.
Sherman's camp.
Yeah, I remember some of those ones. Yeah, the nests were pretty neat. Yeah, we just kind of put them
there's the
together all
Marion
over
Forks
the place.
one.
Yeah.
With the Hungry Gyms.
Cool parts about both the ambush camps and the nests, though, is like the in-air messaging we did for those things. Like the ambush camps are always signaled with a smoke pillar. So if you ever see like a big like smoke pillar, that's where an ambush camp is. If you ever see crows flying in the sky, that's where a infestation is.
Oh, right,
So
right.
you get to kind of know what's going on by just looking into the sky a little bit.
Yeah, so you can kind of, go on top of one of these like cliffs and kind of overlook the open world, and you see smoke off in the distance. You don't even have to look at your map, right? It's like, oh,
Exactly.
there's an ambush camp over there, which
there's
makes sense,
apparently
like you got the smoke living in the world. They gotta get some fires to warm up, especially in Oregon. Gotta stay warm.
You got to stay warm, especially when the snow comes along.
Yeah. So, actually, before we jump into kind of going through and taking out some of these nests, pull up a little early design again, or early layout, I guess, would be more appropriate here. Showing kind of like a map of where freaker nests would go, and this is actually around Lost Lake.
It is, yep.
So, like, what's the process here? Are you literally just picking places like, oh, we'll put a freaker nest here?
So some of it is picking places, but a lot of it actually with the freaker nests was about limiting fast travel. Because to fast travel, you have to clear the infestation zones. So on these infestation zones, we're really trying to like clear, put them in the main roadways so that you have to basically clear them before you can start fast traveling places. So like that was a bigger consideration for them. And we used to have a lot more of them, but then it became like kind of too tedious to go through and eliminate all these nests. Like when there's like 9 or 10 nests in an infestation zone, kind of gets a little bit old, but like 3 or 4 of them, it's usually about fine. But that's basically the biggest process, was trying to figure out where like the big roadways were, and trying to make the infestation zones kind of block those off so that there wasn't like the ability to fast travel through the region immediately without actually having to clear any of these nests.
Which I really enjoyed that when I started playing this game, is like, oh, to unlock fast travel you have to clear out these nests, right? And it made sense in a lot of ways, but I really enjoyed it because, one, it kind of forces you to ride the bike, which is one of the highlights of the entire game, right? But you also have to do these systems of, all right, well, let's clear out. I have to clear these out if I want to make my life easier.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Especially if you're like a trophy hunter and you would start fast traveling, speed up your process a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of just start clearing these out and fast travel if you're in Hot Springs and go all the way down to, the Diamond Lake area, which can be a long drive.
It can be.
Which I found out last night when I was
When
trying
you were
to
playing
do
Survival 2?
Yeah.
There is no fast travel then.
So here's one freaker nest here.
Yeah, basically they would detect when they were on fire. There was actually a system, and I don't know who exactly put it together, but there was this really cool system where like the flames would propagate to like the assets, all the connected nest assets in like pretty cool way where it didn't all just immediately like explode on fire, right? Like it kind of spreads and then fades away, and it's a really neat system. We ended up like spawning a few freakers, I think, for every nest. Some have more than others, obviously.
Yep.
But yeah, these were all really kind of cool experiences. One of the other open world designers, let's say like Cody, ended up working on a lot of this stuff. Yeah.
But this, you know, so this was part of the open world team.
Yes.
That was doing that,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And that was at a max of how many people during development?
Like probably about 8 or 9.
8 or 9
probably.
people
Yeah.
putting a lot of these systems into place in open world.
Yep. And actually, like, I also, with all the ambush camps and stuff like that, I also worked on, like, pretty much every enemy camp that's in this game and all the Boozer jobs, too. So, like, you know, get meat for Boozer and, you know, go clear those first nests out. Like, I definitely worked on the sawmill.
Okay.
Nests, or not sawmill, logging camp. Sorry, it's been 5 years.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
trying to, like,
It's been a while.
reconcile these names. You're on fire.
Thanks.
Oh, no problem. I'm really good at pointing out the obvious.
And there we go.
Good work. You did it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, look at that.
Yep.
It's like you've done it before.
Like I
or
played this
something.
game before, you know.
I don't know why I got that impression.
The reason I'm here.
Right? But yeah, I actually ended up working on like all the enemy camp jobs as well. So some of the jobs from Copeland's camp, like where you're going to clear out like the anarchists or anything like that. I
Right.
actually worked on those jobs as well. And one of my favorites being the Diamond Lake enemy camp where you rescue Mitch Allen in the cave is one of my. That one's another one of my favorites. If you know which one I'm talking about, there, it's like these anarchists that are outside of a cave, and you go into the cave, and it's like, oh, you have to rescue this guy, and then you untie him, and a horde comes out
Oh yeah.
into the cave.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
You're welcome. I worked with another one of our designers to get that up and going.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's one that I had to figure out a lot of really weird edge cases for because of the fact that it's like a maze, and you could technically get to where the horde is before you do the rescue. So like you have to I had to try to plan that out of like, okay, well, what happens if a player goes to where the horde is before they actually like rescue this person? Like, how does that play out? Like, what happens
Right.
in those kind of cases? And I think it ended up working out pretty well. Like, there's certainly things that I would, you know, polish or make a little bit better the next time, but I'm really happy with how those ended up turning out.
For sure. Yeah, I'm like looking at the storylines here, and you know, just looking at all these ambush camps that you know had a hand in, and there's a lot of them. You know?
Yeah, I think there's like 14 of them. Or
There's a
something
lot
like
of
that.
them.
I don't know. Maybe 14's the wrong number. Maybe that's less. 2, 3, 4.
I feel like it's around there.
I think so.
Yeah.
That seems right.
Yeah, it seems right. We're gonna go with that.
Seems right. I don't know. There's a few in every region. Yeah, they're a good time.
Kat, I know you're there. Not if you're there. Kat, could you please start sending me any questions from chat towards us? Because we're about to jump over to the challenge mode, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm excited about. This was actually a pretty hard one for me for for a while when I was actually playing this and going through the challenges. Kat, who's that? Yeah. Ben Studio, can you please send me some questions? I can't believe I'm talking to Ben Studio right now, you know?
Me either. Hello.
So yeah, we're gonna go into Ambush Camp Rush, which if you don't know anything about the challenges came out post-launch in 2019. There was a total of 12 of them. They came out every Friday throughout the summer, which during that time when I was working at a job that I completely hated, and I working second shift, I would get home at like 1 o'clock at night, and immediately boot up my PS4 and try out the new challenge.
Nice.
And stay up until I got gold every time. Now this one took me a little bit longer to master because it's a little tricky.
It is a little tricky. Yeah, this one's a little bit different than all the rest of them. We basically, the concept was like, well, what if we had an ambush camp that was ramped up to 11, like in difficulty? Like, let's make a really hard ambush camp. And then on top of that, we have this combo system in the challenges, right? So some challenges take full advantage of it, other ones don't take full advantage of the combo system. I decided to really lean into it, which is why you'll get like the combos for picking up items and everything like that. I basically just wanted like the players to try to maintain momentum if they wanted to go in guns blazing. So there's kind of like two ways to play through this this challenge, which is what my expectation was. Very similar to the ambush camps. I wanted to make sure that there was a way that you could go through quietly and slow or really fast and guns blazing. So either way, they're totally valid to get a gold either way. I made sure of that when I was first putting it together, is that like I wanted to make sure that you could either get a gold by doing stealth or by going loud. So there are different strategies, right, between each two. For going loud, you'd want to, I think the rings that I used were like rolling reload, and the one where you slide and pick up items, because that really helps with that combo.
Right.
So like if you find a bunch of items, right, you slide right up into it and you get a multiplier every time you grab the items. Now it's going to increase that combo time and gives you more chance to get like a kill. So you want to just kind of keep increasing that score doing that method and beat the timer. So it's like you're focusing on basically like two of the sub challenges at once is essentially what it ends up being, right? Like if you're going to do the crafty, quick and painful, you're probably going to want to pair it with crafty, because the crafty one will keep that combo going, and you're going to want to shoot for this like faster time. If you want to go really slow, you're going to want to make sure you don't alert the enemies and that you use residue darts. Because residue darts, while they were in the game, they weren't like really well used, and that's actually why I wanted to use them in here.
Oh, interesting.
Is because I was like, all right, well, let's actually show off the residue darts for this challenge. And I think for that one, you use the floor de leaf or whatever, the one that makes the crossbow better, and then like extra silencer or something about silencing your weapon. There's a ring that does that too. So that's kind of the thought process of the ambush camp rush, and it's really fascinating seeing how players have actually interacted with this challenge, and also just like seeing various playthroughs and how people get gold has been really fascinating after this challenge came out. But I did make sure that I was able to get gold with no rings before I was like happy with this challenge.
Sure.
I was like, I want to make sure it's doable and not like so hard that it's like impossible, but it's definitely a trying challenge.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, before we jump in and attempt this, and I'm going to be playing this, and it's not going to be pretty probably. I've gotten gold on all the challenges, but it's been a little bit. I was going to practice, but I didn't, so we'll see. But we have some questions for you, Phil.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, from our awesome friends here in chat.
Okay.
We touched on this a little bit, but I want to bring this up. Mills VP, which huge Days Gone fan.
Yeah.
They take a lot of Days Gone photo mode shots. Did you work on the ambient event where Deke gets captured and they take all his weapons? That one is crazy intense.
Yep, that's the snare trap ambush that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, I absolutely did work on that event. I didn't place a lot of them, as I said. I worked on the logic surrounding it, a lot of like Deacon steps here and now he gets transported to this other area and all of his weapons are gone, right?
Yep.
Like in a cage. So like that was a fun one to work on.
And I feel like it's one that it doesn't get run into much. Like when I first ran into it, it was like this was prior to Ben's studio. Yep. I shared it on Twitter, and everyone's like, "Oh, I didn't know that could happen," right? And it was just really so cool, because I'm like, and that was after I played the game like 300 hours.
Yep.
And then I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there too, and the tell is you can see the rope. if you know what you're looking for, you can see the rope, and there's like always this little like pile of leaves.
Right.
So, and it'll always lead. Like
Yep.
if you see a trail leading to a pile of leaves, maybe don't
step
on
in the
those
pile
leaves.
of leaves.
Unless you really want to get snare trap ambushed, in which
Yes.
case then go for it.
Right.
Have a good time.
All right, we got a next question from Mad Shaggy. Hypothetical: what natural disaster would you add to the game? To
Days Gone?
If you would, which one would you add to Days Gone?
If I could add any kind
Any.
of natural, any kind, like
Any kind.
honestly, like it would be really cool to see like a forest fire. I think
Yeah.
would be really cool.
Which makes sense.
And then also like just a straight up blizzard, like
Yeah.
real big snowstorm,
Right.
Stuff like that. We have pretty good ones right now in the game, though.
Yeah,
I will
it
say
snows
that.
pretty well, and the snow, after a while, will stay on
Yep.
dead freaker bodies. It will get onto Deacon's clothes, and every time I see a player notice that, I'm like, yeah, it's cool because you don't really, in hindsight, it's like, oh, I'm playing a game. You know, it's snowy, cool, and then you start looking, it's like, oh shit,
It's actually collecting on everything.
It's collecting on things.
Yeah, like those freakers on the ground. They actually have snow on them. Like, yeah, it was really cool that we got those dynamic weather
Yeah.
systems working in
Right.
the game. I was really impressed when I saw them come online. It
Which-
was super cool.
Which spoilers in a future Breaking Down Days Gone, we might be talking a little bit about the dynamic weather.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Next question from guess same question but from two people, Zaz 2.0 and Gabe Logan, the actual Gabe Logan.
The actual game.
Yeah,
Logan.
no shit. What was Phil's
Wow.
favorite part of the game to work on?
Favorite part of the game to work on. Honestly, like the ambush camps are like really like one of my favorite
Yeah.
parts of the game. That and the guitarist. Like the guitarist was so special just because of how people reacted to it. Like seeing that reaction in real time was like pretty amazing. Like when
Right.
I watched, like, because we watched quite a bit of the streaming, like when the game first came out, we
Yeah.
kind of knew that like we weren't always going to get the same experience from everyone, right? Like, and there were going to be surprises in the game of like, I just went into this cave and all of a sudden there's a horde here. Or I just passed by and all of a sudden there's a horde like walking by, and you just don't expect that stuff
Yep.
to happen. But watching some of those streamers come across that guitarist event was still like one of the highlights, just because I was like, all right, it worked exactly like I was hoping.
Yeah.
Like that was the satisfying part of it, is that it worked exactly like I
That's
thought it was
awesome.
going
That's
to.
awesome. We have next one from Kevlar Brecher. I'm terrible with names, so I'm sorry. Another hypothetical one.
Okay.
If there's one thing that you would change / add to Days Gone now, after kind of all this time sitting, pondering after ship, what would that have been? Would it have been maybe something in the ambush camps that you wanted to add that, just wasn't, you weren't able to add it, or the blizzard that you were just talking about?
Something that I think would have been really cool for Days Gone. It's actually like supply caravans. Those are always the things that I thought that would have been really neat, because we could have put like events around them. But that's about it. Like, honestly, I'm really happy with how Days Gone ended up turning out. I thought it was a really cool experience. And
I mean, it's such a dynamic open world. Like, it's very living, right? Like, there's always something happening. Like, I don't know if this is a thing I'm just now making up in my head, but if you stand too long in the open world, like I was earlier, I don't think you can stand that long without getting attacked.
you can't. Yeah.
Like,
no. Eventually something. will
Eventually,
come
someone's
and-
coming,
yeah.
right? To where, like, any other, some other games, any open world games, you might be able to have a spot you can just sit there, not press pause, go make a sandwich in the kitchen, come back, and that person's still there, right?
Yep.
If you come back, the day is gone. Deacon, he could be dead.
He's probably going to be dead. Like, there's either going to be some kind of escalation, or something's going to happen to him in some way, or like some horde will come along and get you, or it could just be like a randomly spawned freak that just comes along and decides to attack you. And anytime one enemy starts attacking you, you're probably going to have multiple.
Exactly.
So.
Since Kevlar, he actually had an additional question here.
Okay.
From a design perspective, would you make the nights darker than they are now?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Because
I think they work pretty well, honestly, as it is. Like, there's some really interesting tech, actually, and I didn't work on this at all, so I'm just kind of like talking from what other people have done. But there's actually some lighting effects that like adjust Deacon's eyes, like kind of similarly to like human eyes. So when you like come into the tunnels, you'll see this a lot when you come into tunnels. Like, tunnels are really dark, and then like a moment later, your kind of eyes adjust to it. Well, that actually happens for Deacon, right? And interestingly enough, it actually happens in his pupils too. In the game,
which you can tell by
cool.
going into photo mode.
Yep. Which I kind of figured you already knew that, because
the pupils dilate in Days Gone, and it's freaking wild.
Yep.
Yeah. Last question before we go and play the ambush camp rush.
All right.
Well, actually, there's one question for me. When are you going to buy cat dragon fruit? Soon. I apologize. I am a terrible person.
Enough,
I know. To justify it, I haven't gotten dragon fruit myself for a while, so I will be bringing Cat some very soon. I feel like it's going to have to be next Friday now, so I should put this as a meeting in my calendar just so I don't forget.
Yeah.
Serious question. What do you think makes the open... Oh, this is from Gabe Logan again.
Oh.
What do you think makes the open world work? And
what do you think makes it work?
Yeah. What do you like games in general? What makes an open world become so attractive to players, right? Like, so many games out there are open world now.
I think it's the promise of freedom, right? Like, that's what's attractive, in my opinion, about an open world game, right? Is like the ability to go where you want to and kind of do what you want to, and not be in a prescribed like order to do that. I think that's what kind of makes an open world for me.
Makes sense. Yeah. Well, so everyone, if you have any more questions, please drop them in chat. Kat is still collecting them, and at the end, which we're getting closer to the end, we can, if you have a few more questions, we can go ahead and answer those. So now, we're going to go into the challenge mode that Phil was briefly talking about earlier, that you designed as part of the post-launch DLC back in 2019.
Yep.
Now, with each, and I just want to do a quick little flex. Everyone sees all my golds, just throwing that there. It's a lot of golds there, okay?
Yeah, it is. It just looks like mine at home.
Yeah, it's great, right?
It's looking good. I will say, anyone that is working on getting all the golds in these challenge modes, there's 2 tips that I would have is, don't be discouraged if you only get a bronze at first. The more challenges you complete, the stronger you will get, because you will get more patches, and specifically, like, if you start working towards them, you'll start noticing a power increase. Like, for instance, the first Horde mode is really, really tough to get gold, right?
Yeah.
Right at the, if you have no patches, nothing
hard.
unlocked, it's really, really difficult. But by the time you actually do Ambush Camp Rush, and Ambush Camp Rush is actually a really good one for this, because you get the bullet penetration, I believe, patch for that one. And that will help you tremendously in the previous challenges, actually. Like, a lot of these will end up really, really helping you. So don't be too discouraged. As I said, if you get like a bronze at first, it's better to chip away at it, get a little bit more powerful, and then try it again.
Yeah.
So that is my generalized, as someone who has gotten gold on all these as well, and was kind of in the process of putting some of them together, right? Like, it's really helpful to get those patches and rings. Like,
and fun fact, if you didn't know, all these patches here that you collect will go on to Deacon's Cut in the story. Yeah. So you gain these here, they'll go onto Deacon's Cut in the story, and I always thought that was just an awesome touch.
They actually apply to that too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They actually apply
the
to
stats do, right? Mm-hmm. So like 20% damage reduction, so that goes to the story.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you're playing New Game Plus and you want to try Survival 2, well, the best way to do it is get all these challenges done, because all these stats are going to carry over to in-game.
Yep.
So you got focus efficiency, enemy impact, stamina, which, Deacon, He needs some stamina, health upgrade. Like all of this will
He's
go
got to
into
get
the
off the
story.
bike more.
He does. He really does. You know. So ambush camp rush. We're gonna go ahead and what's kind of unique about the challenge itself is there's 2 ring slots. Phil, if you want to explain some of the ring slots here. And
I don't remember a lot about them other than they help you in various ways. So
Yes.
like for instance, the one that I would use for ambush camp rut, well, actually it depends on how you're going to play it. But the ones that I always liked for ambush camp rush were the rolling reload for going through it quick. Rolling reload, and the one that's when you slide, it picks up stuff for you.
Oh, right. This
The
one.
Joker, yeah.
That is a good one.
So that one and rolling reload, if you want to go loud, are the ones that I would suggest for the ambush camp rush. If you want to not go loud, if you want to go quiet, you want to get the fleur de lis, that one right there, and then the silencer one. I think it's the one right next to... Yes. Successful stealth kills suppress your next few shots. I think that one is the one that It's been a little while. I think that's right, though.
I'm gonna do this one with
Yeah.
the crossbow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep the sliding on.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and mix this up.
Go for it.
Now, we both love Jim Perry. I say we stick with Boozer.
Yeah. Booze
Right.
Man's great.
Boozer's awesome. We're gonna go ahead and play this as Boozer. There's multiple subcategories as well, right?
Yeah.
So you want to if you get gold in those subcategories, you're getting gold overall,
Pretty
right?
much.
So
Usually
we have
if you get 2 of them in
Two
this
of them?
one, like as I said, like Camp Ghost and Berserked together, if you do both of those and get gold, you'll get a gold rating pretty much. Same with Crafty and Quick and Painful. So if you were to go through it for those 2 together, you probably get a gold.
yeah. Gray Angel said I actually did all the challenges and got all the patches before I played the story.
Wow.
Perfect. All right. So
That's impressive.
subcategories: you have to kill 24 enemies before alerting the camp. So that's more of the stealth type of play style.
Yep.
Get 13 residue bolt kills. So also stealth.
Mm-hmm.
Use your crossbow. Defeat the camp under 330 was always my trick. With stealth, you have to. It's a lot of practice, right? You need to know exactly the roadmap where you're going.
Yeah, I never went for that one with stuff.
Yeah.
I could only do that when I was like actually rushing the camp.
Right.
Like really guns blazing, like
Yep.
immediately coming in there and sliding over people and like taking my gun, just like immediately shooting them in the head.
Exactly,
like,
right?
Going through and throwing like weapons and or throwing grenades and everything like that. Also, you do get more combo for crafting items in this
Yep.
one. So
And quick little tip here: as soon as you start, turn around and grab these supplies.
yes.
You will need all the supplies. So you get into this. Oops,
And
trying to
your
pick up the
baseball
bat.
bat,
There we
too.
go. As soon as you get in, turn around, go pick up those supplies.
Yep.
And what we're going to do is now we're going to try to do this a little stealthy.
Just a
It's
little stealthy.
probably not going to work. I'm just going to say that now.
Okay.
But because I used to have the exact path to do this, actually.
Oh, you go this way when you're going to do it stealthy. That's interesting.
I forget my path now. Not going to lie, but I always knew I took out some of these guys first,
Yep.
and then I think I moved up.
There's also some hidden goodies in this level too. Like I put a really big sniper rifle on the roof of a shack in the back there. There's a really powerful melee
Oh, right.
weapon in
Yeah,
the
there
back.
is, isn't there?
There's various corpses that are around the camp. That guy, how did he not see you?
Oh,
There are various corpses around the camp with more berserker nest residue on them that aren't usually there. There's barricades that aren't usually there in this camp, like more bear traps. There's like pretty much everything that could get in your way in an
Right.
ambush camp is present in this camp. And also has like a flamethrower guy, I think, at the end.
so you want to use the residue bolts because that's what's going to make the enemies kind of berserk.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna ignore that guy. I'm gonna go up here.
And step in that bear
Crap! I forgot the bear trap.
I even just talked about it too. I'm like, there's bear traps in here.
And now
Did they know you? Where
Yep,
you are?
they're alerted.
Oh yeah, they totally
Crap.
know where you are.
Okay, now it's guns blazing.
There you go. Camp alerted.
Yep. Oops. I had the wrong button.
Threw a rocket. They'll never expect this.
I got to keep them on their toes, you know.
Yeah, once things kind of go sideways in this one, it starts going intense real fast.
Whew, so that stealth just did not work for me, as expected.
Yeah, I think I'd have to probably play this quite a bit to get gold again.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of practice to really successfly get this done.
When I was in my prime in Days Gone, I could get gold in all the challenges.
Oh yeah, then you got the big guys.
Yeah.
Which
they're
are
there
no
too.
fun.
There's nest residue in that guy. And here's the BF. I think.
Yeah,
there's a
it's up
BFG
here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought so.
Yeah, probably to the right. Yep.
Yep. So if you go over here, now you had the big old sniper rifle.
Well, if you wanted to pick it up, you can.
Oh, I didn't pick it up,
You
did I?
did not.
There we go. See if I can take out that sniper. And full concentration, Kevin. Boom.
There you go.
Headshot. So now this gun's pretty powerful.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty OP. Where's
It is called the BFG.
It is. Now where is the big guy? That's who we want.
That's not the big guy.
That's not, but we'll take that
Also
person
not
out
the
too.
big guy.
We're just gonna take them all out right now.
Probably right below you, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's in the. Let's see.
Oh yeah, there he is. He's
Yep.
looking at the ceiling. He thinks you're still up there.
Haha, sneaky boozer.
Don't mess with Booze Man.
Don't mess
especially
with
when he
Booze
has
Man.
2 hands.
Yeah, right?
I forgot how limited you are on even ammo in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the my strategy for going around stealth is actually
Crap.
to go to the left side around the
Oh,
camp.
really?
Yep. Go through like the water there on the side. And
Oh,
and
yeah.
Come up and sneak behind some
Woo.
of the entities, some of the peoples.
The armored enemies, they're tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when this one goes sideways, it goes pretty sideways.
Yeah, I don't even know if we're gonna get anything.
You might get a bronze,
Maybe a bronze.
and you can craft a few things. And
But I
that would
have,
probably
like,
help.
No ammo left, which
That's
is not good.
explosive. Yeah, there you go,
Oh.
crafty. See? You did crafting stuff. And
Ooh.
that guy,
There we go.
holy
And
moly.
boom. Okay. We're doing stuff, Phil. We're doing stuff. Oh. And this guy. Oh, no, I'm out.
Oh yeah, you totally
I'm
are.
out of
Oh,
everything.
yeah, you really are. Well, he's gonna be out there.
Oh. All right. So we did that. Let's grab some supplies real quick.
Yeah, there should be like
Oh, no.
1 or 2 more enemies. 4 kills remaining, it looks like. So.
4 kills.
Yep.
I got this. Right?
Oh, there's a growler there. Yeah.
Maybe. Where are they shooting? Oh, I just saw another weapon.
Yep. There's a handgun right over there.
Yep. Eliminator. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, there's all sorts of. There are actually a lot of different weapons. Oh, you just don't have any ammo.
I just don't
for
have
it.
any ammo, so that doesn't help me.
Yeah, there are a ton of different weapons actually in this.
Yeah, there are.
In this encounter, I pretty much wanted to have most of the tools available to you, so you could really
Right.
decide like what you wanted to do. Like,
Bronze.
there
we
you
go.
See,
First try.
I knew
Hey,
you'd get bronze.
thank you.
I knew it. I had faith in you. Not so much for gold, but
Yeah,
you know,
not so
bronze,
much for
yeah.
gold.
Bronze, I knew it. I knew it. 2 kills remaining. You can do it.
Okay, and then probably the one left
Probably
all the way up here.
Way over there.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's half of the challenge of this. If you want to do it quick, is trying to like understand where the enemies are as well, because you almost want to get them in the side and kind of like push through towards the bunker area.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna want to hang out in
Right.
there at the end.
And that was tough. That was tough.
Yeah, it's a tough challenge.
Yeah.
Revisiting it after 4.5 years or whatever, like it's an interesting watch. I'm impressed that I used to be able to get gold
Right?
consistently in this thing.
I think my strategy was by just completely rushing it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's kind of was like the best approach.
It's one of the best. If you actually grab that baseball bat, there's a saw blade inside of one of the shacks there to the left. So if you can get to that saw blade, you can make the lollipop, basically.
Oh, yeah.
The saw blade bat, and that is really helpful if you want to actually like start rushing the camp. There's a really powerful weapon. Like if you go to the left here, this is the way I always liked going actually. When I would take on this camp, there's 2 reasons for it. There's a hatchet over here that I put in the tree.
Bear trap.
There's a bear trap.
So why'd you do that, Phil?
Because I like to go this way and I wanted to.
You like bear traps, don't you?
Yeah, who doesn't? I put a hatchet into that tree.
Look at that, right into the tree.
Right into the tree.
I'll take the hatchet.
The hatchet's good, and if you,
Maybe I do.
I would say if you're going for a high score, don't go for this weapon. But if you wanted to have some fun, behind that rock, actually on the left, see it way back out there, not that rock, the one to the right, behind that shack.
Yeah.
There is actually like one of the most powerful melee weapons in the game.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I don't even think I knew that at all.
Oh, I don't know what's happening there.
Whew. I messed up.
So if you jump over that, I'll just a little
Jump
hint.
over here,
Yeah,
okay.
jump over that, and then just go out there.
I didn't even know this. Never knew this.
See,
I love
learning a new TIL, right?
I love
Today
all the
I learned.
weapons you placed in here, though.
I wanted to give people a lot of options.
Look at that. Boom.
But the thing is if you are trying for any kind of high scores, it takes so long to go through this water.
Yeah.
That, like, you can.
Darren says remarkable memory by Phil here. That's for sure.
You work on this stuff, you play through it a lot.
That was impressive.
Like I remember this area very, very well because of how many times I had to try to actually I had to make sure this was achievable because that was not always easy.
Right.
It's really easy to make a hard challenge that's so difficult that no one's going to get it, right? But you don't really, that's not a thing that you should shoot for. I wanted to make sure it was achievable.
Yeah.
And if I couldn't do it, then I figured I shouldn't expect others to be able to do it.
Right.
Wow, that guy just kind of exploded there. Yeah, that's the ambush camp rush. There's all sorts of.
I'm trying to rush it.
That guy probably has nest residue. Or that half of the corpse there has nest residue, I'm sure.
Oh, right. But I like how, giving the player a toolbox to play with, right?
Yep.
To, after playing the story and kind of going into this, and you can kind of just get all the stuff used in the story and play with this.
Yep.
Oh.
And one of the big deals, as I said about this earlier, is one of the things I like to lean into is using these berserker darts because they were there in the game. You could totally use them, but there wasn't a lot of there weren't a lot of explicit reasons to use them. They were just kind of fun to make enemies attack each other.
Right.
In this one, I really did want to have one of the challenges or one of the sub goals about that unique aspect of the game that we really weren't showcasing anywhere else. So hopefully this challenge will at least help some people try out berserker darts and see how cool they are.
Yeah, which I didn't try them out at all because I'm trying just to survive at this point.
That's probably a good call.
Yeah.
The other part about the berserker dart that actually makes this really interesting, and a tip that I would say even if you're going for the guns blazing, is technically if you get the camp riled up at the or with a berserker dart, they're going to have their attention drawn to the person who's gone crazy basically and attacking the camp instead of you. So you can actually play into that camp ghost.
Oh, right.
If you do it right?
Yeah,
With the berserker darts. So if you're using berserker darts, you can play a little silently. You can just run through the camp basically, and no one will see you because you have those silent shots. You have berserker darts, which are drawing tension away from the rest of the members. Just cause a whole bunch of chaos.
I mean, I love this because you had the sniper and you have the superior mace, which I never knew about.
I'm glad I could teach you something
Years
new.
later, and I found something in Days Gone I didn't know. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
That's,
Well, I ended with bronze again. I tried.
I know you did better
I
that
tried,
time.
I
man.
tried.
You did do better.
It's
that
been a
time.
while.
It has.
These challenges are very hard to get back into, right?
Yes.
After not playing for a little bit.
Well, they have the expectation that you're kind of at the top of your game in a lot
Exactly.
of these challenges,
Right.
like, especially if you consider like Outride and some of the other ones that were really like. There are some really hard challenges, and
Yeah.
like, if you are going to approach them, like, as I said, be happy with bronze. Like, get bronze to get the patches to help you get higher scores. It will really help. It's actually surprising how much it helps.
Developer tips right there.
Yep.
Has Phil platinumed the game? Yes.
Yeah, I did. I actually, it's one of my proudest platinums, I would say. I was lucky enough to, since I worked on the game, I got an early release version. So I technically got the platinum, I think, like 6 days before release, which I'm very proud of. So
That's
like,
good.
And when these challenges came out, actually, I, as Kevin did, went home and just played through them. I mean, I knew I could do it because I was playing through them here before they came out, right? Like,
Yep.
but it was still, there's something about like going home and experiencing it in like your home environment that is so different than what you get when you're working
Yeah.
at like a computer
Right.
at your job. So
And all the devs on the team that platinumed the game actually got a special platinum coin.
I got one of those.
And I did as well before I even joined the studio, which I was very, very thankful to get. And yeah, those coins they're awesome. And you know, you kind of go around the studio and you see those coins at people's desk, and because they platinum Days Gone.
Yeah, mine's in a little like Days Gone shrine area. In my
that's
house,
great.
So
I love Days Gone shrines.
yeah,
They're just my favorite.
I got like one of few cool things that are Days Gone related in there, so I'm pretty happy with it. But that coin was awesome. I felt so good to get it. It was
Yeah.
so nice to be like, look, it's a real platinum trophy.
Hey, our audio director has just entered the chat. Hello, Mr. Audio Director.
Hello.
That's all I'm going to call you by. Not even your name. As we wind down our stream here, got a couple more questions for you, Phil.
Okay.
Do you prefer mouse and keyboard, or controller?
I'm sure I'm gonna get crucified for someone saying this, but I love controllers. I'm a controller player.
Controller all the way.
I've played PC games with mouse and keyboard. I just absolutely love playing it on a controller. It's just the way I've been playing games since I was a little kid. So like, I mean, I started on a Nintendo back in the day, and it feels right to play games on a controller for me. Also, I don't ever feel like I can relax if I'm hunched over a keyboard and a mouse. I need to be able to sit down.
Like
and
to be on my couch.
Yeah, be on a couch
Yeah.
or like in a more relaxing setting. I know that it's not the most optimal way of playing games, but
Right.
I find it the most comfortable. So,
Yeah, same here. I'm right with you.
Yep.
That was from Kevlar, by the way. And Kevlar has another question.
Okay.
What's the most impressive fan art you've seen from the community? There's been a lot.
I've seen a lot of them.
There's been a lot.
I don't even know, honestly. Like, all of them are impressive, and that's coming from someone who I could never do that.
Right.
That's the thing. Is like I look at them like, wow, these people can draw. I can't draw. Like all I know is game logic. I can't draw.
Right. That's one of the things I always say. Like in our position with me and Cats, you know, we have the luxury to see these creations every day that pop up on our feeds. Or
So cool.
I wake up in the morning, I have these notifications with photo mode shots and stuff, and it's like, thank you
love
for
it.
sharing that.
I think like share that as much as you can. Like make art, share art. It's awesome. Like we love seeing it.
Exactly, right. From Shank, our friend from Egypt, was the Burnout Apocalypse trophy hard for you to get?
Is that the one with like drifting? For a certain amount
Drifting
of time?
and nitrous at the same time, yeah.
Moderately.
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 Yeah.
I would be interested to see which one was my last one before the platinum. Like, that may have been one of the later ones, because I know you do have to upgrade your bike quite a bit to get that Burnout Apocalypse trophy.
Yes, you need to have fully upgraded nitrous, but there's a couple tricks with that too. Is you want to take off your fully upgraded tires, and you want to go down to the less traction tires, and then find a wide open spot, preferably if it's raining, so you have less traction.
Wow.
It's raining, then you have full upgrade of your nitrous.
Yeah.
And then it should be easier for you to get.
That is probably true. I did not do that.
Yeah. See, you taught me something, and I taught you something today.
What I did, I think I'm sure I did that in the Belknap area next to where the Newt event is, like where you see that Newt trying to get wrangled to wrangle a Newt. I don't know if you know what quest I'm talking about, but there's like some Nero guys that are trying to get capture a Newt.
Yep.
In that area, I'm pretty sure that's where I got the Burnout Apocalypse, and I remember just like feathering the slip on the motorcycle. So I'd like boost, and then I was like tapping on the circle button, I'm pretty sure, to like get that slip going.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up getting it. Yeah, that was a tough one, but totally doable. It's actually one of my favorite parts about the Days Gone Platinum is that it didn't require you to exhaust the game completely to get the platinum.
And you only needed like 75% of the collectibles, not 100%, right?
Yeah,
and
we basically didn't.
Love that.
One of the philosophies of that was just like, we don't want people to just grind it and hate it, like looking for that last trophy, but like we wanted you to be able to do it if you could, but not like, if you wanted to find everything, absolutely, but like forcing someone to get every single collectible like would leave a bad taste in your mouth, I think. So that's one of the reasons why some of the trophies were a little bit more lenient in Days Gone.
Yeah, because sometimes in games, when you're looking for that very last trophy, it's like, I've searched everywhere, I can't find it, right?
Yeah.
So only be able to do 75% and still get the trophy, still get the platinum. Perfect.
It's good.
You know?
It's good. Made you feel good
Yeah,
at the end of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, that is part 3 of our breaking down Days Gone. Phil, thank you very much for joining. That was
You're welcome. Always happy
I
to be
learned
here.
stuff today too, and that's great. It's
Yeah.
fantastic when I'm still learning about this game, years later, and and just kind of going into the process of your design choices when it comes to ambush camps or even like a challenge mode, and how like we were talking about with all the weapons, giving the player the toolbox to just like have fun and
Exactly.
Tick off these subcategories to try to get scores and try to rise up in the leaderboards.
That's right.
So yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I know they're all telling you all thank you. Our chat is awesome.
They are.
Everyone, thank you so much again for joining us. Thank you for bringing your questions, for bringing your really good questions that we can actually answer. So thank you very much. We will be back next Friday, 5:00 p.m. Pacific time, right here on twitch.tv/benstudio, to play another game that I'm not allowed to shamelessly plug, apparently. So, but we'll have Crystal Johnson, our recruiter, on next week. Stay tuned next month. What's that? February.
That is.
We will have part 4 of our Breaking Down Days Gone. And that will be bringing on a brand new face that has yet to appear on Ben Plays. So that will be a good time, and that will be towards the end of the month, I believe. All right. Did you have fun today? Is
I
the
did.
main question.
This is great.
Okay, good.
It's always fun to hang out with you, Kevin.
And look, we did an hour and 20 minutes of talking.
It's a lot of talking.
It's a lot of
didn't feel
talking.
like an hour and 20
Right?
minutes, so that's good.
We hope you all have a great weekend. Go play some games, explore virtual worlds and real life worlds, and
Yeah,
we will
everyone.
see you next Friday. All right, everyone. Bye.
Have a great weekend, everyone.